from the University of Chicago Center for Translational Data Science. So you are all welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak at this DSI Africa Networking Exchange. My name is Michael Fitzsimons. I'm part of the Center for Translational Data Science at the University of Chicago, and today I want to talk to you about Gen3, which is open source software for data sharing and analysis. So what are the agenda? What is the agenda? Who are we? Why data sharing can be hard? How can Gen3 help you solve this? A little bit more about Gen3's capabilities and then a demo. So who are we? This software Gen3 is built and maintained by our center at the University of Chicago. We develop and operate large-scale data platforms to support research topics for research in topics of societal interest, specifically, typically biomedical data. Here we are in the middle of the country next to Lake Michigan. What kind of collaborations are we looking for? So the reason we're here today is that we have been part of the Alwazi uh, OSDP consortium, and we seek to support African organizations in their use of Gen3 to securely share and analyze data. So if you like what you see and you're interested in learning more about Gen3, please reach out to me. Sharing research data can be hard. There's a few reasons for this. Often there's little or no incentive to share data once they serve their original purpose. There can just be a lack of interest or effort on the part of a principal investigator to share the data in a really quality way. Sponsor requirements, at least in the US, are changing this, but it's really a work in progress. Um, as I referenced, data quality can be a problem. So perhaps data are shared, but they have very limited metadata, so you don't really know much about these files that are shared, and so it can be really difficult to make use of them. And finally, another reason is that data security and compliance requirements can make it challenging. So oftentimes countries may restrict the ability to share human subject data across borders. Um, Also, some patient data may be narrowly consented. Perhaps it can only be used for supporting breast cancer research, for example, and is not supposed to be compared to other data. So these restrictions are things to work through. How can Gen3 support data sharing? Well, primarily through two of its products. So I'm going to talk to you today mostly about data commons. These are platforms that co-locate data, exploration and visualization tools, along with data management services for import and export of structured information like clinical and biospecimen data, as well as data objects. So these are like genomic data files or medical imaging or any other type of file that can be stored in a hard drive or an S3 bucket. Data meshes, which I'll talk a little bit less about today, are also supported by Gen3. This is an ecosystem of data commons. So one portal that allows you to see data that's actually stored in other data commons. Here is an image of canine data commons, which I'll actually demo later. So what are the Gen3 features that support data sharing and analysis? I'll go through these quickly and try to get to the demo so it can be a little bit clearer what I actually am talking about. But some core Gen3 features include authentication and authorization. So this allows you to securely access data. Basically, who are you and what data do you have access to? Gen3 can store and manage structured and unstructured data. So structured would be something like you'd have in a database or a table. Unstructured data are files. So each type can be assigned a permanent digital ID. This allows for referencing these files in the future. It includes a graphical user interface. Query of metadata and files is supported using an API. All of our services are built to support an API. Gen3 includes analysis workspaces, which allows for the use of popular tools such as R and Python to analyze your data within the platform rather than downloading it. Gen 3 is open source, so you are free to use it however you wish. You don't have to talk to me or anybody at our center. It's free and open to the research community. Gen 3 is microservice based, so there are a lot of independent services that are running, not all of which every organization would need. It is cloud agnostic, meaning it can go in any cloud, but I should have mentioned it is also can be deployed with on-prem infrastructure. Deployment of services and containerized workflows are managed by Kubernetes, with Helm used for automating deployment. Observability tools are also included. It also supports secure data sharing. So CTDS runs its systems at what's called FedRAMP Moderate. This is a US-based compliance framework. But what it means for you is that it often, is mostly in sync with other external and global compliance frameworks and also has very regular patching, so it can be important. Okay, so I wanted to give you a demo. Before that, I'll just highlight this page, which gives a link to many of our data commons, which you're free to take a look at. The ones at the top are run by our center. These at the bottom are listed as powered by Gen 3. What this means is that we have little to nothing to do with them. We are just highlighting them as community examples. And I wanted to emphasize that today that, these other groups are running these and perhaps it could be appropriate for a research organization in Africa to also set up a Gen 3 Commons in order to distribute their data in a secure manner. So just to make this a little clearer to everyone, I'll just jump into this K9 Data Commons. We often demo this because it is completely open access and is quite simple. It'll give you the idea. Typically, you would go into here. It's already set up. Let me unclick these. It's already set up to show you how to make a cohort, in this case of dogs based on certain breeds and traits. So I'm selecting female golden retriever. Then I could download the files if I was interested in doing so. There are also a few analysis applications that are here, which might be of interest, but generally it's to highlight how you can create your own sort of data analysis and visualization plugins. We have a few that already exist, but it's the front end is set up to support others. This is a BAM viewer, relatively simple to show you if you're interested. Sometimes for cancer research, you see a variant of interest, but you really want to dig in to see if the reads support that. So just briefly, I'll pop into another data commons, which is a little more complicated, called the Medical Imaging and Data Resource Center. This has imaging modalities like X-rays and MRIs. It's primarily used to support training AI models based on the data, but it runs relatively the same as the one I just showed you. You can make filters based on case or subject demographic information. Perhaps you want to find all of the files in the platform that are CT scans of the chest. And so this will load the files to demonstrate to you, or to allow you to create a manifest to download the files. Potentially, if you were in a project that supported workspaces, you could download the files into the workspace. I'm not logged in here, otherwise it would allow me to download that. Okay, so that is just a couple quick demos of Gen 3 Data Commons. Both of these are completely open, so you're free to poke around and take a look. So just to round out the presentation, here's a few links to other resources for you to take a look at. Our main website talking about Gen3, about our center. We have frequent events and lots of recordings about Gen3 at this site. All of the source code is open access, so feel free to take a look there. And then finally, our technical documentation is found at this link. So that is my presentation for today. I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Michael. Can we have your questions now? You can raise your hand or mute yourself and talk, please. We are waiting for questions, please.
Can I start again?
All right, you can go ahead.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for the presentation. The second data set that you demoed, the one that has the imaging data, so that are those freely available? One can download them, or do you need to go through a data access application?
Yeah, that is freely downloadable. I think there's a click-through consent the first time you join, but
Hmm.
it's yeah, really lightweight. There's not a data access committee.
Okay.
We just post the link here.
Okay,
So yeah,
thanks.
feel free to take a look. There's lots of interesting data there.
Cool. Nice.
Thank you. Is there any other question? But before then, Michael, what would your organization like to gain by partnering with researchers?
Sure, yeah, thanks. So we're interested in generally, helping people or groups use Gen3. We think it's a great tool for sharing data. A lot of organizations use it around the world. And so we're looking to talk to anybody that's, interested in using Gen3. We have a lot of community support solutions. We have a Slack page, we have an email, and we have a lot of community events. So there's lots of opportunities to ask lots of questions and talk to our engineers if you have any, challenges setting it up. But basically, if any, research organization or consortium or lab is interested in Gen3, please reach out and we can try to help guide you in setting it up.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, please, my hands is up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Matthew, you can go ahead.
Okay, Michael, I thank you for the presentation. I want to add, the data you have, is it available for use as secondary research? And if maybe one from a developing country want to access it, is there any limitation to the quantity or to areas where one can access your data and use for secondary research?
All right. Can you see my screen now? I just wanted to use this as a way to just answer your question.
Okay.
So we at the center have quite a few completely separately governed data commons, and many of these are sponsored by, they might be sponsored by the NIH at the National Institutes of Health in the US. There are some that are independent sort of research consortia, different government agencies. Um, I highlight this because I just want to emphasize that all of these have different rules. So it's hard to answer your question because each of these has a completely sort of separate governance framework, and it's not really up to us, the Center for Translational Data Science, who is in many cases the operator. But what I could tell you is, feel free to take a look. All of them have kind of different rules. This MIDRC one that we already discussed is very permissive in how the data can be used. I think it can be used for really anything, including commercial activities. But please visit it and access the data, and I think it has the requirements. Some other commons, like this Cancer Research Data Commons, have data access committees, and it's quite a bit more locked down, and you have to apply for access, and so they have a lot of rules, especially as well as the SPIDO Data Catalyst. So take a look around. They're all different. I'm sorry I can't give you like a clear answer across the board, but every commons that we work with has separate governance.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we'll end with Michael here and continue with our session with Laura from Center for Sexual Health and HIV/AIDS Research. So Laura, if you are here, kindly.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're able to hear me. There's so much rain here and thunderstorms as well. So I would like my recording to be played. And also just to mention, I have a team here that will be responsible for responding to questions. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura Mutali, and I am a data scientist at SESHA Zimbabwe, as well as a PhD student at the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. I am honored to present on behalf of my team regarding the data science initiatives and collaborative projects that SESHA has established and continues to develop. Our work reflects a long-standing commitment to fostering impactful partnerships and innovative solutions within the field. The Center for Sexual Health, HIV and AIDS Research Zimbabwe works to improve health and well-being in Africa and beyond through high-impact research, evidence-based programs, and capacity strengthening of health systems. Its work is guided by national, regional, and global priorities, with evidence used to inform health policy and programming. Key populations, improving the health and well-being of populations, their partners, and other groups at heightened risk of HIV, sexual and reproductive health, maternal and newborn health, strengthening outcomes of women, men, and children through research and program delivery, climate, environment, and health, examining climate impacts on health and supporting equitable adaptation strategies that build resilience in affected communities. SESHA has collaborated on the DSI-related projects such as the HEAT Center, CHIKI MNCH, through strategic partnerships with numerous researchers and specialists from several diverse institutions. The HEAT Center's objectives are to leverage existing health data from cohorts and trials in data science to generate evidence on the effects of climate change on health outcomes, with specific focus on heat. The multidisciplinary team comprises of climate scientists, clinicians, data scientists, and geoinformation scientists to accomplish this complex research work. Two running projects are Research Project 1, Sub-Saharan African pregnancy cohort and trial data from studies published between 2012 and 2022, merging that with climate data from the respective study periods and assessing the heat exposure of the woman and the maternal and neonatal health outcomes. Research Project 2, Abidjan and Johannesburg cohort and trial data with climate data from respective study periods and assessing the effect of heat exposure in built-in areas and the morbidity observed. Some of the tools that have been generated in this pipeline are the mapping tool that allows for standardized definition of terms across various studies, the analysis cluster that allows the different partners to analyze anonymized data on a central platform from different remote locations, and a geolocation tool that allows for accurate exposure assignment for each participant. The Harmonize project is another project where SESHA has contributed to. The project is a toolkit that allows all tools described in the previous slide to exist and operate in one centralized platform. Dissemination of the current milestones has been delivered in the form of publications, stakeholder meetings, and presentations at various scientific platforms, including DSI Africa Consortium meetings. Another project promoting data science and innovation in Africa by SESHA and partners is titled Characterizing Effects of Air Quality in Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health in Sub-Saharan Africa, commonly known as CHIKI MNCH. The first objective of CHIKI MNCH is to advance capacity for the application of data science in the field of environmental effects, especially ambient air pollution, on health, focusing on early career individuals and key organizations in Sub-Saharan Africa. The second objective is to design air pollution spatial indicators and proxy measures and validate these using ground sensor data. The third objective is to prepare a data science ecosystem which allows for reuse of existing air pollution, climate, and biomedical data and serve as a platform for innovative data science. The fourth objective is to utilize machine learning approaches to understand and quantify the impact of ambient air pollution on pregnant women and neonates in Sub-Saharan Africa. And lastly, to serve as a continental resource and a center of excellence for knowledge translation, dissemination, and informing policy and practice through engagement of key stakeholders as well as partnerships. Over advancing capacity in data science, 2 PhD students and a postdoc were enrolled for the project and continue to use data science approaches for analysis. We have validated 3 road traffic spatial indicators: population-weighted road network density, Euclidean distance to highways, and Euclidean distance to main roads against ground-based personal PM2.5 measurements across multiple study settings. The evidence indicates that these 3 traffic-related indicators alone are insufficient to fully explain exposure variability, and this has motivated the ongoing development of a composite indicator that integrates additional environmental and contextual variables to improve predictive performance. Objective 3 summarizes progress in the development of a secure cross-institutional data science ecosystem linking MSU and CSAG at UCT. The sensitive health data remain within the secure MSU environment, where only de-identified analysis-ready outputs are shared for reproducible collaborative modeling and reporting. Analyses are in progress for Objective 4, where data from Precise Network has been used to investigate the influence of socioeconomic and environmental factors on the relationship between PM2.5 and preterm births. Simulations over PM2.5 percentiles being used to explore machine learning and statistical model performances in understanding effects of PM2.5 on preterm births, and use of generalized linear mixed models through Bayesian approaches to quantify the association and assess geographic heterogeneity in PM2.5 and preterm birth across multiple countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. Over the 5th objective of CHIKI, the project has published and still continues to publish manuscripts over objectives 1 to 4 in different journals, such as the Journal of Global Health Economics and Policy, PROS 1, Frontiers Global Women's Health, just to mention a few. The project has come up with multiple geospatial and health outputs, such as the environmental and social determinants of health, indicator dashboard, air pollution exposure trajectory analyzer, also just to mention a few. Collaborative meetings with local and international stakeholders such as policymakers, health workers, scientists from different institutions around Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, USA, UK have been conducted, sharing knowledge over CHIKI objectives, how interventions can be strategized to mitigate air pollution impacts, and how best to address the health burden for the benefit of the vulnerable populations. Abstracts have been submitted and accepted for presentation in different forums such as DSI conferences, Climate and Health Africa Conference, World Public Health Congress 2026, and many others. The other studies include the Landscape Fire Smoke and Birth Outcomes in Africa, which aim to quantify the association between landscape fire smoke and birth outcomes in selected heat center cohorts. The second aim is to develop the federated data infrastructure to include landscape fire smoke in the CHIKI database, making it easily accessible for this and future analysis. The other study is referred to as Etiquette, which addresses the challenge of estimating daily PM2.5 and temperature exposure in Sub-Saharan Africa, where monitoring networks are sparse and labeled data are limited. The framework integrates personal monitoring, meteorological variables, and geospatial covariates in a 14.6 million point dataset and evaluates supervised, semi-supervised, and teacher-student modeling approaches. Results show that the teacher-student framework performed best, enabling scalable prediction across more than 95% of spatio-temporal instances while revealing context and season-specific exposure drivers. SESHA successfully convened the first Climate and Health African Conference in 2024 Harare, Zimbabwe, a platform for various climate and health stakeholders to meet and map a way forward for Africa. CHAC gathered nearly 500 delegates from 48 countries, with 95 policymakers and 65 early career researchers. We also had 29 African ministers or their representatives. Major highlight was that it was inaugurated by the president, and we had a Harare Declaration, which is being used to shape policy across Africa. Post-CHAC, our health minister was appointed champion minister on climate and health in Africa, and he has been going around the globe talking about CHAC and the Harare Declaration, including that he was invited to give a keynote address at the Global Climate and Health Summit in London last year. African Union has endorsed CHAC as the official convener of Climate and Health Conference in Africa, and this will be conducted after every 2 years. Countries will take turns to host, and SESHA will remain the secretariat. Thank you very much for your attention.
Oh, thank you very much, Laura. That's quite insightful. Thank you. It's time for questions, please. We have some hands up. Hello, we are waiting for your questions. Yes. So Laura, what
I
is
don't
the
think there is a question.
Yeah, I can see your hand, please. But are you ready? You can go ahead.
Yes, I was just saying that since we don't have questions, we can just go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to find out from her how people in this event, I know you shared some email addresses, but can you put them in the chat for us?
Okay, that's fine. I will put the email addresses in the chat.
All right, thank you.
I think we can move on to the next speaker, Lee. Liz, I think you can move on to the next speaker.
Okay, yeah. Do you have the recording?
Yes, I was waiting for the introduction first before displaying the introduction.
Okay, so we have Dr. Mofa Sidon Mofa from CREPAN, Center for Research Training on Pathologies on Pathologies, Center for Research Training on Pathologies.
Exactly. Hello, dear all. I'm Dr. Sumunu Seydou D. Mofa. I come from Mali. Today, I'm really happy to talk about my research center, CREFAM. By definition, CREFAM is a research and training center on molecular pathologies. It's a center of excellence in biomedical research and training in Mali. Who is CREFAM? CREFAM is a leading research and training center dedicated to the study of molecular pathologies. We focus on translating fundamental research into practical health solutions, strengthening research capacity in Mali and across Africa. We focus on training the next generation of health researchers. Infection-associated cancer training program, NIH funded. Some of our key areas are self-sampling based HPV screening for cervical cancer prevention, NIH funded. We have clinical metadata on REDCap, epigenetics of breast cancer. We are building a database of global methylation data, advanced genetics research such as BRCA1, BRCA2, TP53 genes, MTHFR. We have mutation data, both single sequencing and PCR. Pharmacogenetics of antiretroviral drugs. We have mutation data with PCR. Our work for data science and health in Africa. CREFAM integrates data science into biomedical research by analyzing genomics and clinical data for precision medicine, using bioinformatics tools for disease prediction and diagnosis, supporting evidence-based decision-making in public health, building local capacity in health data analysis. We aim to bridge the gap between biomedical research and data-driven healthcare solutions in Africa. Those are some of our partners. CREFAM offers to research partners access to unique Africa genomics and clinical data sets, strong expertise in molecular biology and genetics, capacity for translational and applied research, collaborative research environments with trained professionals, field experience in public health challenges. What we seek in partnerships, we aim to strengthening scientific collaboration and knowledge exchange, access advanced technologies and methodologies, co-develop research projects, publication, builds capacity in data science and bioinformatics, secure funding for impactful health research. We are interested in partnership with universities and research institutions, data science and bioinformatics experts, NGOs, and global health initiatives, pharmaceutical and biotech companies, public health organizations. How to collaborate with CREFPAM? You can collaborate with CREFPAM through joint research projects, student and researcher exchange programs, grants applications, and funding partnerships, data sharing and analysis initiatives, training workshops, and capacity building programs. The impacts and vision of CREFAM. As a research center, CREFAM contributed in improving health outcomes locally and globally, advancing scientific knowledge in Africa, delivering high-quality services aligned with international standards. Our vision is to become a leading Africa hub for molecular research and data-driven healthcare innovation. In conclusion, we combine molecular science and data-driven approaches to access major health challenges in Mali and across Africa. Our work contributed to innovative prevention, diagnosis, and treatment strategies. Through collaboration, we aim to strengthen research capacity and global scientific partnerships. Together, we can transform research into impactful health solutions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Doc Mufa. Thank you. Do we have some questions for him, or do you have anything to add up?
So yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm really happy to be here. So I'm here with my professor. He can also help me to answer some questions. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Fellow participants, yes, we are here. Doc is ready for our questions.
Yeah, please, my hand is up. Can I speak?
Yes, Daniel, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Doc. I just want to ask a question on genetic sequencing of precision medicines. Are you looking at a specific precision medicine, or you're looking at all of them, like biologics, immunologics, gene therapy? And have you found any interesting thing about the African population so far when it comes to such precision medicines? Thank you very much.
Okay, good question. I will give the floor to my professor to answer this question.
Hello, yeah, quickly, in terms of precision medicine, so it's just starting a new program. We are doing that through pharmacogenetic, basically looking at the molecular pharmacoprofile, P450 profile, and see how that can be used to improve treatment of antiretroviral therapy. So that's what we did so far. We don't have immunology or other data so far. We're also working on microbiome and cervical and colorectal cancer. And in that one too, the long term is to use that for precision medicine. So those are what we have so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Matthew.
Yeah. Thank you,
You got
Dr.
what?
Sumani.
You're welcome.
I am very interested in your HIV, the pharmacogenetics of HIV drugs. And I think if you can put your email address so that we can talk later after the...
Yes, I will put on the chat. Thank you.
Any more questions or contributions? So, Doc, aside working with your team in Mali, can you share with us some organizations that you have worked with outside Mali?
Okay, goes to show. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, as you shared, I can add quickly. So we are involved in many networks in Africa. The HPV network with the University of Jos in Nigeria, University of Ibadan. We work with the University Sheikh Anta Diop of Dakar in Senegal. We work with a team in Guinea, with Professor Mamadou So, a team in Burkina Faso. We are mostly in Francophone network. So that's what we are trying to develop through Northwestern, NIH. We have many of our projects, as you saw, are NIH funded.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to cite a few.
Oh, okay. So can you share with us a few of your networking experiences? Oh, they have. Okay, we are to leave the breakout rooms. So let's all return to the main. Yes.